from heaven and all the animals were clean in the sheep, we can eat snake meat now. And let me tell you, I have really developed a taste for snake meat in the past few years. Delicacy we've been missing. I'm sorry. I should introduce myself, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
No, you don't need me to introduce myself. You know who I am. You saw me yesterday in the puppet show, didn't you? Well, I may have grown some legs, and I may have become a bit more realistic since then, but you know me. I've come to you from hundreds of years ago, and I'm an old man. What is my name? Who knows my name?
Peter!
No, not Peter. I am the Apostle John, and I've come to you for this splashtacular week because at the end of my life, I too was surrounded by water. Where was I living if I was surrounded by water? What was I on? What was I living on? What was it? An island! I was on an island at the end of my life. But this was no ordinary island. No, I have to tell you what this island was. This was no Hawaii. No, there was no hotel, no resort for me to live in. This was a desolate island. It was rocky. It was barren. It was a terrible place to live. It was the island of Patmos. And I'll tell you why I was on this island. It was not for a vacation by any means, no. This island was there because I was... Wait, what's that? What do I see? What do I see? What's this? Oh, I love these guys. Have you eaten these lizards? These are delicious lizards. Oh, let me tell you, a little butter, a little bit of oregano. You wouldn't believe the flavor. Guys, I was in prison. I was imprisoned on this island with nothing to eat but lizards and snakes. That's where I got my taste for lizards and snakes. Delicious, you wouldn't believe it. Delicious lizards and snakes. But why was I imprisoned on the island? Who knows? Does anyone know? Because of Jesus. You see, there was a new ruler in Rome. And this new ruler, well, his name was Domitian. And this ruler, Domitian, said that everyone needed to worship him as God. I refused. How could I worship this man, Domitian? I had been with Jesus during his ministry on earth. I was there when he was on the cross dying, when he called me and my brother James out of the boat to follow him. I was there when he was alive again after he died and he went up into heaven. How could I worship this Domitian? All these Roman rulers, whether it was Caesar or Nero or Pilate or Domitian, they all valued their own kingdoms over God's. So I couldn't worship him. But you know what the Roman rulers said to that? They said, fine, you don't want to worship this new ruler? You're going to prison. So, at that point, I and all my brothers who wouldn't worship this new ruler, we were put in prison. And we were tortured and persecuted in terrible ways. You know what? Sometimes my brothers and sisters, they thought they couldn't take the torture anymore. And that is when I would come to my brothers and sisters and I would tell them, oh, hi, yes, here, medium rare is fine, thank you. Pull him out here. Can you get him? I'm hungry. Go cook him. Oh, good. Thank you. Then I would tell my brothers and sisters about the story of Jesus. Oh, who knows the story of Jesus? Have you guys ever heard of Jesus?
Yeah.
Oh, look how many there are. You've all heard this? Well, some of you aren't raising your hands, so I'm going to have to tell you real quick. This is what I would tell my brothers and sisters who were in prison and thought they couldn't take the torture anymore. I would say, you can have hope in life because of Jesus. Because Jesus came to the earth as a man. And he lived a perfect life. And then how did he die?
He went on the cross.
He went on a cross. You're right. Jesus went onto a cross to die for our sins, to pay for the penalty of it. And then on the third day, he came back from the dead. And do you think that made my brothers and sisters feel better? Yes, it helped them. It encouraged them because they knew there was hope for them, even though life was so hard. But how do you think the Romans felt? Did they like me telling stories about Jesus? No! They came and they said, this voice of witness must be silenced. You know what I said to that? Do you know what I said to them? I said I would sooner be banished to a desolate desert island left to eat nothing but lizards and snakes the rest of my life than worship your Domitian. You know what they said? They said, okay. So there I was, abandoned, put off onto the island of Patmos to eat lizards and snakes for the rest of my life. Which actually wasn't as bad as you'd expect. They're pretty good. But on the island, I was there for years, and I was an old man. I was as old as 84. But guys, do you think being abandoned on an island with no civilization in the middle of the Aegean Sea, did I stop telling stories about Jesus? No, of course I had to tell about Jesus, so I told my fellow prisoners. And I told the Roman guards about Jesus. And I made converts out of them. It was beautiful. It was a good time, even though I was in prison. Much of my time was also spent either praying to God or at my desk. And I would write at my desk. Sometimes all night long. And I would write. And I would write. And I would write some more. Until one day, the most amazing thing happened. What happened to me? I had a dream. What did I dream? A very strange dream, I can tell you that. Have you kids ever had strange dreams?
Yeah!
You have? You know what I'm talking about? Also, you've had that weird dream where you're living on a banana with your aunt, only it's not really your aunt, it's actually Bugs Bunny. And then the frog food, it starts falling from the sky under the sea and the banana turns inside out. And wait, you've all had that dream, right? Okay, I'm alone here. But you've had strange dreams, assure me. You know what strange dreams are, yes? Okay, you know what the strange dreams are. My dream was strange. But there was something different about this dream. It was also very real. You see, God sent a real angel to come into the dream with me and to walk me through it and told me to write down everything I saw. So I came and I was writing everything I saw in the dream, and then at the end of the dream, packaged up the writing, and do you know what? There it was! When I woke up, the whole dream was written down. I don't know if it became real after I had the dream, or if I'm just really good at writing in my sleep, but it was all real. And what was this book that I wrote? It came to survive hundreds and hundreds of years, and then it became part of the Bible, the last book. What book of the Bible did I dream? Who can tell me? You, what was it? Revelation. That was the book that I dreamed and wrote down. It was the book of Revelation. The revelation to you and to me about what is going to happen at the end of the world. A marvelous book. It was strange. Let me tell you, the weirdest things happened to me in that dream. There were plagues. There were wars. There were grasshoppers. There were flying, weird, stinging grasshoppers. There were swords coming out of people's mouths. There were zombies. There was death. There was everything. You name it. But this dream was going to come true. So, I'm going to try to tell you my dream. I will tell you what I saw. But you've got to pay attention, because this dream is like no other dream you've ever seen. So I need you to do this. Sit all the way in the back of your chairs. Take a deep breath. And on the count of 3, I will tell you what I saw. 1, 2, 3. The angel said to look at 3 things. And the 3 things were these. He said you must look to the ocean. Then you must look to the land. And then you must look up into the sky. So, that's what I did. First, I looked out into the ocean. And do you know what I saw?
What?
Nothing. But I heard something. I heard the sound of rushing waters. But then, like things change and transform in dreams, it became something else. It became the voice of Jesus himself. And Jesus was telling me to write to write down the things I would see. So I started writing. Then I looked at the sea and I was, whoa! Then I did see something in the sea. Do you know what I saw?
What?
No, it was not Jesus this time.
A fish?
I saw something terrifying. It had teeth. It was big. Coming out of the sea, what was it? Not a shark. Worse than a shark. What was it? Not a whale. Whales don't have teeth. What was it? It was a dragon. A sea monster. Couldn't believe it. It had huge teeth and it was going to eat me. I was sure. So I looked at the angel and I said, we should probably be going. I said, we're good. Let's go. Cool dream. I'm leaving. The angel said, no. Look at the monster. So I stood there and I looked at the monster and I covered my eyes and I looked again and the monster had transformed. What did it become? Something even scarier. It became
a dragon.
a little man.
What?
It became a little man. But this man was even scarier than the monster. He was terrible. He was dark. He was evil. And he had an army. And he wanted to make war against God. It was a horrible thing. Then the angel said, look to the land. So I turned around and I looked at the land. And what did I see there?
Me.
It wasn't Jesus. It was the army of God. It was God's people assembling to fight against Satan and his army. And they were ready for the fight. So there came God's people. And there came Satan and his army. And they fought together. And it was a terrible fight. And lots of people died. And it was terrible. But there was something else coming. You know what the angel told me to do?
A dragon.
He said to look up into the sky. So I looked up. And then what did I see?
An eagle.
Another angel.
What?
This was the archangel. What is the archangel's name? Michael. Who said Michael? You were right. It was the archangel Michael leading the army of heaven down into the fight. And they came down and they helped God's people and they were winning. It was awesome. But you know why they were really winning? Was it because Michael was there?
Maybe.
No.
God.
Who else was there? Who else? Jesus himself was in the fight, and they won. They won the fight. They had victory. It was beautiful. And that was the end of the fight. But guys, even that wasn't the end of the dream.
Oh dear.
Even more happened. Do you know what happened after that? My favorite part. My very favorite part. I was able to see what heaven would look like. It was beautiful. Oh, I'm not afraid to say it was beautiful, guys. I looked into heaven. How do I describe it? I'll tell you what it was not. It was not a bunch of people sitting on clouds in the sky, plucking harps, being bored. Is that heaven? No. This is what heaven was. I looked up into the sky, and I saw a city coming down out of the sky onto the earth. And it was a beautiful city. There was no need for sun or moon because Jesus was in the city. And he was the light of the city. There was no need for a temple because Jesus was there. And it was gorgeous. What were the roads made of? What do you think they were made of?
Gold.
You guys already know this. How did you know? Gold. The walls were made of sapphire. The gates, the 12 gates were made of a single pearl. And guys, there was no sadness. There was no death. There were no tears. It was beautiful.